Hello, Alma. I was wondering if you could get me something to eat. I'm a little bit hungry.
Sure, Caesar. You're wanting to eat what?
Something simple. Nothing too risky. No spicy and oily.
Okay. How about a bowl of white rice?
Yeah, sure, I guess. Maybe a little extra.
Sure. Let's put some meat and egg for protein.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
And we could put some soy sauce to give it a little zip, a little flavor.
Yeah, soy sauce sounds good.
And we could put some sugar to sweeten it up and a little bit of orange juice to give you some vitamin C.
Oh, that sounds interesting.
Yes, and don't forget we put some oil to give you long-lasting flavor, long-lasting energy, and we'll also put some chilies to give it a little bit of zip.
Hello and welcome to Caesar's Snack Sandwich. Today we're on Ethereum taking a look at BasketDao. Now I took a look at BasketDao a little while ago, maybe sometime last week, and they've made some changes quite a bit, so I would like to cover it again because it's substantially different and there's some new things that need to be talked about. Now this is a sponsored video via the creator DAO. If you have a project and you would like some coverage, feel free to check out the link in the description below. So, as you know me, if you're one of my viewers, you know I really like Yearn Finance and I'm a big fan of the products that they support. Now this project here is also a big fan of Yearn Finance and likes to use Yearn Finance in their products. So I talked about BDI in the past and I talked a little bit about the Bask token in the last video. So I suggest you to watch that video if you want to know more about this BDI. But today I'm going to be talking about the BMI. Now, what is the BMI? They call it the DeFi's Diversified High Yield Savings Account. So basically what it is it's an index of Yearn Vaults. And all of these vaults are basically holding different kinds of stablecoins. Now, they're all, in this case, they're all set through Curve pool vaults, and they're all, have these metapool tokens, which is like, so Curve Frax has a portion of Frax and DAI, USDT, and USDC based on the Curve pool. And then it's going into Yearn Finance, and Yearn Finance is doing their thing with the harvesting of the Curve tokens and selling some of the Curve tokens for yield and depositing some to boost their yield. So anyways, that's a topic for another video. I have covered them quite in depth already. But what I like about this is they've aggregated all of these possible vaults into one single token. Now, I think that's pretty interesting because it'll diversify your risk in these individual tokens, because maybe, USDP, you consider it to be high risk, or DUSD is higher risk, but you still want a little bit of exposure to certain ones. So I think it's pretty interesting, okay? So the base APY right now is 9%, and that's basically an average of these APYs based on the proportion and so forth. So if you go down and you want to know how to get into this position here, it's pretty straightforward, but it's kind of interesting. First thing we will talk about here is this Treasury Partners. If you have a treasury and you think that holding this kind of stablecoin, this yield-bearing stablecoin, is a good idea, then you can reach out to them here and they can add you to one of their Treasury Partners, and you will be excluded from some exit fees. If you want to exit from this, you need to pay a small fee. Okay, this is how you would basically stake your BMI tokens in order to earn Bask token. Now this is pretty good. Now it's going to end in a month, so they're only going to do this for a month, but they're giving you 70%, well, almost 70%. And of course, as this increases, this will go down. So maybe by the time you get here, it'll be 50 or 40% or 30%. But it's already at 5 million TVL and it's still hovering around 60%. That's pretty good in my opinion. Now they're going to pay this 67% in Bask tokens. So that's the governance token of this protocol. And it basically, the only feature of this is its ability to govern. It doesn't have any sort of staking and so forth. So this is how you would get into it. You would come here with one of these 4 tokens, whether it be USDC or one of these 3 stablecoin vault tokens. And you would then deposit them here and come back in each day. So basically, if you look here, it says deposit your USDC, wait for the next BAX conversion, cover gas covered by us, and retrieve your BMI. So this is what I did. I put some Yearn Vault token in here. I came back in, I think it was 10 hours or something, because they do it once a day, right? But maybe depends on when you join, right? And they batch mint up a bunch of BMIs based on everybody who's put in there. And as you can see, there's no fees for this. They're socializing the gas in a sense to everybody who's going through here and so forth. It does say gas covered by us, but I think it's a socialized gas. We'll go into the article and talk a little bit more in depth. Now this is if you want to use low gas, okay? And this is low gas burn to leave. If you have BMI in your wallet, you can exit via this user interface here. But as you can see, I've staked my BMI tokens for Bask tokens. And then coming soon is an instant one. And that would basically instantly do this if you want to get in immediately and you don't want to wait and you don't want to return for this. But this is obviously a much better choice for someone who doesn't mind waiting a few hours to come back and claim their BMI tokens. This will all happen in a single transaction. Now this will be, of course, the contracts are there. It's just the user interface is not set up yet. So, if you are a protocol and you're looking for instant minting of BMI, you can just interact with the contracts themselves. Now, if we go through this article that they used to announce the BMI token, there's a few things I want to highlight. Okay, so we go down here and it says, we will aim to chase high yield risks across DeFi through other partners. So currently they are using just Yearn Vaults. If you go through this list, these are all Yearn Vaults, but they are not, owned by Yearn, but they have they have this existing revenue sharing partnership with Yearn. Like if you supply liquidity to Yearn as a protocol, then they will kick back some fees to you. So that's great for this protocol. So if they find somewhere else that has a better deal and is just as safe, then they might allocate some of these to other protocols. So it's not a measure of, it has to all be Yearn, and there is the possibility that these can change to be with other protocols. Now, how currently the way it's set up, this is based on the Yearn Vaults. So there are a few rules that are important to consider when they are balancing out this BMI and choosing which vaults to supply liquidity to. So these are quite important, so I'm going to read them carefully. So no more than 20% of a fund is in one given vault. So they're not going to put 20% of their funds into a single vault. Okay, now give or take a little bit, right? They might get a little bit over or a little bit under, but when they rebalance, they will rebalance down to 20%. The next part. It doesn't make up more than 30% of the deposits in a particular vault. So they don't want to be the whale of the vault. So if they have $100 million and they put it into a vault and they become like the whale of the vault, that's not something, they have to diversify the money. They cannot be like the dominant holder of the vault tokens more than 30%. Now this is important, especially for rebalancing and stuff, because if you are a dominant holder and you want to pull out, you have a huge slippage. You have a huge effect on the value of those tokens and the vault holdings and stuff. And you're going to be pulling from the deeper strategies that cost more in gas to pull out and have a bigger effect. So I think this is a solid rule to help protect everything, both the Yearn ecosystem and this BMI token. Now, vault inclusion, they have a set eligible vaults. Now, they didn't talk anywhere in this article on what is the list of eligible vaults, but they did say that, they're going to choose the vaults based on highest to lowest yield. So if you notice through here, there's no YV-USDT or YV-USDC or YV-DAI. That's because the interest on those vaults is quite low right now. So it might change, they might rebalance, and they might put some in the future. However, it's not the case right now. So another stipulation is that the vault has to have at least $5 million inside. Because it's got to be a substantial amount of TVL inside there. They don't want to put it into a new experimental vault that has like 20K inside, and even if they only put 20%, or they don't want to be 30% of like that vault, and so it just, one of the rules is it has to have at least 5 million in the vault already. So here is a little bit of what I mentioned about the BDI, and that is they're going to, the devs, the team is going to use a little bit of human judgment when they are rebalancing. Now they're going to follow this methodology. However, they're going to, they understand how slippage works, and they're going to try to avoid slippage and wasting profits on rebalancing simply because, maybe this rule says, oh, 20%, you must rebalance right away. You're at 21% now. They might say, oh, you know what, it doesn't make sense. Slippage is going to kill us right now. So let's not rebalance right now. We'll rebalance when it makes more sense. So I always like this about it. It's like an active role. It's not just, let's just use the math 100%. No, I believe that, using math and using robotics and using smart contracts in collaboration with human judgment is an important factor in DeFi, in my opinion. I did say that I was going to mention like how the BasketDao covers the gas, and it does say here BasketDao will batch mint periodically to cover gas for everyone. Again, it's not clear. They do say that they're going to cover the gas, so maybe the Treasury is paying for the gas, maybe the kickback fees from Yearn are paying for the gas, or maybe it's, like I said, a socialized gas system. But it does say they're covered for everyone. So I would think at this point, it's a pretty good idea to come in here and not have to worry about paying the gas to convert your tokens into BMI at this point. Now that might change in the future. I'm not sure. They might change it to, gas is socialized, or gas is, part of this feature will always be here. So you will always be able to at least socialize the gas cost. You can read through this entire article. It goes through a lot more about, all about how to get in, and talks about the Treasury incentives, lifetime exit fee if you become a Treasury partner and stuff like that, right? So you can consider reading through this article in full. I'll put a link to it in the description. Now, the last thing I want to show you is currently the token holders. There's no liquidity pool. Like, there is a liquidity pool built, but as you can see, there is no liquidity inside there. So you can't trade for this token. You have to mint it right now. This first contract is the staking contract, where, like, if you look at the TVL of this, it's roughly the same as the TVL displayed here, right? So it's just because of refreshing and so forth, right? So this is the contract for staking. This is the contract for like how many BMI tokens have not yet been claimed. So these are minted BMI tokens that are sitting waiting for people to come back and claim. This is the treasury of Pickle Finance, and these are like as you go down, this is only $1,000, so we don't need to really worry too much. But these are some of the devs and testing and production and holding some tokens and so forth. So I hope this is useful. I hope this video is interesting for you. I just want to highlight this again. It's quite powerful, like 60% on stablecoins basically. They are a little bit higher risk than just holding USDC or DAI or whatever stablecoin you believe in, but it's pretty safe in my opinion. There is smart contract risk here, so use your discretion. Don't go too deep that you feel like you can't sleep at night. But and this is a brand new product. I think it was launched yesterday or maybe the day before, depending on when you're watching this and depending on what time it is there and here and so forth. So take some caution when you go inside, but you consider it. I think it's definitely worth a consideration and so forth. Oh, there's one more thing I should mention here is, as you can see how much money is currently in the basket here, waiting to be turned into BMI tokens. So this can help you decide a little bit better about how to get inside.